Okay, so this is the new and improved G&G mg42 HPA kit. When you get it, it's going to have three major components. You're going to have, this is your solenoid cap. You're going to take your AEG spring, or really any AEG spring, you're going to cut it to the length you're going to need, and it kind of just sits in the back like that. You're going to print it upright like this. Then you have your back cap here. Your universal trigger board is going to bolt with two little M3 screws right here. And then on the inside, you're going to have a little bit of an indent, and that's where that spring is going to sit inside of it like that to hold it in place. This is what keeps pressure against the engine to make sure it's seated completely forward all the time. And of course you have your F2. This is with the standard M4 nozzle and with the universal trigger board. So you can order this as a 249 setup, or you can order this as a SKU directly from Polar Star. Soon I'm going to be sending this out to possibly Skirm Shop, and they'll sell this as a complete kit if you'd like. But this is an M4 nozzle with a universal trigger board and nothing else. Everything else is, besides the obviously harness and FCU, not from a kit. This is all custom or custom soldered stuff you're going to have to do yourself. So here is the main engine. You've got four small socket cap M3 screws. I think I use like little 6mm depth, but the hole goes all the way through. So you can use a longer depth if you feel like you need a little bit more grip or grab there. So there's no problem there. You're going to seat some M5s here, here, and here. And you're going to kind of press these in place. They shouldn't fall out besides this one. And then as you can see, this one's cut off the side. It goes the full length, and then that's what holds that back cap in place. Then you have your trigger harness. This is just your standard micro switch. They are, if I can find them here, just standard little quick switches. You get them on Amazon. They are about 12mm, 5 by almost 6mm, and they're just a little 3-pin. This one's a little messed up. But these are relatively cheap. You can buy these in a box of 10 or 100 like that for a couple of dollars on Amazon. And they're pretty clicky. You can put in a bigger one if you'd like, but those ones are cheap, effective, and that's what 90% of people use. The selector switch is a little different. You're going to use these small, these little kind of selector switches. It's a 3-pin, but you're only going to use 2, so the center and then the side. And this is what you're going to use for the selector. You want to be really careful. These things are a little fragile, so this lower section and then the actual metal section will like to separate on you, so you got to be kind of delicate. You can dab a little bit of glue, but you want to be careful it doesn't lock up the mechanism. These things come in like a pack of 100 or something like that for a couple dollars on Amazon. They're cheap and easy. Now, when you're running this, you want to make sure you get that trigger harness in first before you do the engine. And as you can see, I just used some M2 tapered head screws, which go pretty decently length as well. And I just run one on either side because there's 2 holes in that little switch. And once you have that bolted in place, you can see down in here, I have a little offset cut here. So the F2 does not sit perfectly upright because of this little offshoot for the air nozzle, or for the air line right here. You're going to kind of get all the wires off to one side and then just stick it in place. Then at this point, you're going to want to take your solenoid cover, stick it on there, and then kind of just drive the whole thing through and make sure none of your wires are in the way or anything is twisted. Like that. And then kind of just drive it home with that. Send it home. Stick your spring in there. Make sure all your trigger leads are out of the way. And then you just, this little U-shaped cut in the bottom is for the air line and all of the wires. And so they're just going to drop in like that. And after that, you just bolt the whole thing in place and your nozzle will stick out the front perfectly fine. There should be more than enough to get you all the seal you're going to need with no air gap at all. And mind, this is a prototype. The original file will be slightly different. Otherwise, it's a pretty simple design. You just drop it right in. There's no crazy kind of modifications you have to do to the gun itself. You don't have to do anything crazy. It just replaces the main gearbox innately with no modifications or anything like that. These are the files for the G&G mg42 HPA kit. As you can see, you have your main body. This is your backing plate. This is your F2 solenoid cover. This is the Reaper solenoid cover. And then this is for the N7 solenoid cover. Each of these is for obviously for the different engines. Otherwise, everything is the same, main body and everything else. The F2 is preferred. It does work the best, especially because this system has such a long barrel, and this is just more suited, and it's just a better engine overall. I would recommend using the F2 backing and the F2 engine overall because it's just simply better. And the backing plate is set up for that universal trigger board as well.